Look, there are bad employees and bad people everywhere, in every industry. There are bad pilots, there are bad police, bad firefighters, bad plumbers, bad contractors, bad electricians, bad accountants, bad doctors, bad nurses, bad lawyers, bad judges. It doesn't matter what industry you are in. There are bad people everywhere. And, well, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't call out those bad people, because I believe the only way we make things better is by getting rid of the bad. I believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. And the only way we can lift that tide to lift those boats is by either correcting the bad or getting rid of the bad. So let's talk about it. All right, so today we're talking about the bad in an industry. And it's in the aviation industry, sadly. I was tagged in a video while I was on vacation. And, well, again, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't call this out and make a video about this. So here we are, we're making a video about it. And, well, let's watch the video first, and then we'll react to it.
00 Papa, traffic you're following is at your 2 o'clock and 2 miles entering a right downwind. You're number 3.
Number 3, looking for number 2 traffic on the right downwind, 6100.
Actually, number 4. So 6100 Papa, traffic you're following is at the CMAT Planet to Cessna 152. Reduce your speed.
Reducing speed, looking for traffic at the cement plant, 6100 Papa.
So 00 Papa, you have traffic in sight there just east of the CMAT plant on the right base.
Still looking, 6100 Papa.
It's important that you find these guys as quickly as possible.
6100 Papa, I still don't have them in sight. Can I exit the pattern?
6100 Papa, traffic's at your 1 o'clock on the right base. Just make a normal right turn. This will be a full stop landing.
Normal right turn for full stop landing, 6100 Papa.
If you want to go somewhere else, sir, I'm working too hard.
No problem.
6100 Papa, no, traffic you're following out. This isn't going to work. I need for you to turn back to the downwind.
Copy, turning downwind, 6100 Papa.
Tower 6100 Papa, we're still negative on that traffic. We turned right there because that's what you told us to do.
So 6100 Papa, traffic you're following is at your 1 o'clock and a half mile. For traffic now, 60 Papa.
Traffic is in sight now, yes, yeah. We were looking directly into the sun to find them, so you got to kind of manage your expectations for what we're able to do.
I have to manage mine. It's a full stop landing only. You're done. Runway 30, number 3, clear to land.
30, clear to land, and yeah, I'd be happy to talk about it later.
No, there's nothing to talk about.
And Tower 6100 Papa, I totally understand. You're working really hard. We appreciate everything you do, but I need you to mark the tape in case we have to talk about this later.
00 Papa, you can call the company, sir. Runway 30, clear to land.
30, clear to land. Still, you need to mark the tape.
There's no tapes. We're in the 21st century. That's 6100 Papa, taxi parking this frequency.
Taxi to parking this frequency 6100 Papa. And just so I can be clear, you're terminating our flight?
This is 00 Papa, you can go to Palo Alto, sir. I'm working 8 hours by myself today. I just don't have time to work this hard for a student. I'm sorry.
Wow. That's really bad. There's so much to unpack with that video. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bash ATC overall. I think what they do is a really tough job. I have nothing but respect for them. But, like I said earlier, in every industry, there are bad people. This is one of those bad people. There's so much I can sit here and unpack from this video and kind of reflect on it and talk about it. But really it comes down to that this is a Class D Delta airport. And what goes on in Delta airports? Flight training, and a lot of it. That is your job, sir. Look, I get it. It's a VFR flight. VFR, we're supposed to see and avoid. If we can't see, ATC is there to help. But the pilot did the right thing there by asking to exit the pattern. They were seeing and avoiding. They couldn't see, so therefore they couldn't safely avoid, so they asked to leave the pattern. Air traffic control still turned them inbound, told them to make their right turn for base. So at that point, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I could be right, I could be wrong, but he's taken on a much greater level of liability for that flight by going against what the pilot says and still turning them inbound. Now, as a pilot, you are responsible for your flight. You are responsible for what you need to do, or what you do or don't do. They very well, at that point in time, they asked to get out of the pattern. ATC said no, turn for your right base. They could have just said unable at that point in time and then asked to leave the airspace again and then come back in and try again. They could have done that, but you can already see with the attitude and the ego, the Napoleon syndrome, I guess we can call it, of this air traffic controller, that he probably wasn't going to allow them back into the airspace if they did leave. So there was a whole lot going on there. Yeah, they couldn't find the other aircraft. But then to force the landing. Now, again, we don't know what went on before this video. I was unable to pull the tapes, or at least find the tapes for when this actually happened to see kind of what led up to this, to see if they had other problems in the pattern. But to come across the radio and first off be that defensive and not really care as an air traffic controller, like, I get it. It's a contract tower. You're going to deal with the company. There's not a lot of repercussions for these type of people, unfortunately. But to say you're not dealing with it today, like you're 8 hours by yourself, well, I'm sorry. That's your job sometimes. It really is. As we can see from the video, it shows like maybe 3 airplanes in the pattern. There could have been more. Again, videos are kind of edited to say what you want them to say. But still, to come across and say the things on the radio that he said, and to say like he doesn't have time for this, don't want to deal with students today, or whatever the wording was that he used, like, that's scary. That is very scary to me. That is going on live on a radio, and an air traffic controller at a Class D airport is saying that. What if it was IMC? What if they were shooting approaches? Do you not have time because you're working by yourself to assist them in shooting the approach and handling the mist and all that stuff, and spacing and everything else you have to do as an air traffic controller? It kind of makes me wonder. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I know what it's like inside the tower to run all this, because I don't. I've never been inside one. But I know what it means to do your job well, and care. I mean, people's lives are on the line here. I'm left speechless with this. We need to do better. We need to act better. It appears it was a student pilot flying. Then what sounds like the instructor kind of gets on the radio after that. But still, like, the tone never calmed down. The CFI did everything right, in my opinion. I mean, like, he even said, like, I know you guys have a hard job, you know. I'm just at a loss for this one. I really am. Like, I'm sad for that student. I'm sad for that CFI. I mean, that probably ruined their day of flying. Well, what if it was, I don't know, maybe the 3rd lesson for that pilot, and this air traffic controller handled it that way? You might have just chased someone off from chasing their dream. They could have landed after that and been like, nope, this dream isn't worth chasing. And then they move on to something else. I mean, again, that's their choice, but that's made based off of their interaction right here in this video with ATC. I'm sad for the student. I'm angry for the student. This is a tough one for me. This really is. It's unacceptable at the very lowest level. It's unacceptable. If by chance this air traffic controller comes across this video, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear an explanation. You don't owe me anything. You don't owe me an explanation. You don't owe any of us. But at the same time, I'm sitting here calling for your job. I'm sorry. It is what it is. We rely on you and ATC to help us in a time of need. Yes, we're the ones up in the air. We're the ones that have to land the plane safely. But we rely on you when we need you most. And when you have people on the radio in the towers talking to pilots and acting like this, it makes people less likely to want to key up and let you know that they're having an issue. This is bad. This is very bad. And I don't typically call for people to lose their jobs. That's not something I want to see happen to people, but maybe air traffic control just isn't for you, sir. I mean, that CFI was definitely a lot better with you than I would have been. I would have requested a phone number. There would have been a lot of phone calls made. I don't know what the outcome was of this. I don't know if these tapes or whatever got sent to the FSDO or anything like that. And I know you're a contract guy in a contract tower, so odds are very little is going to come of this and very little is going to happen to you for it. And that's the unfortunate side of aviation, is as a pilot, you can give me a pilot deviation, give me a phone number, call, report me, and then I'm in trouble and I have to take classes, or I could potentially lose my certificates or have them suspended, whatever, if I do something wrong. But if you act like this, or you do something wrong, very little happens. I don't like the balance of power with that, just for the simple fact that there are no repercussions. Like, if you do wrong, own it, and take your medicine. I do lots of things wrong. I'm happy to take my medicine for it. Sadly, though, this guy, I don't think anything's going to happen to him, but just my opinion, as a flight instructor, as a pilot, you shouldn't be working there. If you can't handle this level of aircraft or whatever, maybe you need to go to the Bravo and just work with the big jets coming in. Maybe that's where you're better suited and where it's a better fit for you. Maybe being air traffic control altogether just isn't for you. Not every job is made for every person, just like not every person is made for every job. Maybe this just isn't for you, but I hope the people that are in charge out there have seen this, and that we do kind of get the abnormal response and there are repercussions for it. Because again, I mean, our lives are on the line when we're in the air. Anything can happen, and we need to come to you for help. We need you to clear the airspace if we have an emergency, help us find where we need to go. Like, that's your job. And when you talk to students, especially new students, you talk to people like that on the radio, like, you're completely turning them off to the idea of turning to you for help when they need it. So now when they do need help, they feel like they're all alone. They feel like no one has their back. Even though you're just the person on the radio, you're not in the airplane able to help us. Sometimes just having that calming voice coming through the radio is enough to settle things down to be able to work through and save someone's life. But if you're talking to someone like this, they're not going to want to turn to you. And it can end up very tragically for that person that's in the airplane, sadly. But like I said, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm appalled. I'm very... I don't know where to leave this one, guys. I really don't. I wish I had some type of solution or advice I can give. But the only thing I can say is thankfully, the bad in every industry is a very small number. It's never the majority. And it goes with ATC also. Like, this guy is the minority. He is not the majority of ATC. A lot of ATC are very good people. They care. They want to do good. They want to help us. So don't let this person turn you off to flying into towered airports or talking to ATC, especially when you need it. They're there to help us, and most want nothing more than to help us. So I guess I'm going to end the video with that this week and just say, I hope the powers that be end this job for you, sir. You don't deserve to be there.